What's up guys, welcome to another video. Not a real action-packed video today, just another VESS that we've done, just an engine rebuild, stock bottom end rebuild in a cam package. Didn't really film, I filmed a few clips which I'll put over the top of this through the process of doing so, but just one of those jobs we really needed to get done and get out. But I know how interested a lot of you guys that are watching the channel are in different LS combos and what we do and what the results show. So I figured I'd just do a little bit of a run through of what we actually did to this thing and what the results were in the end. So it's a L98 6L80 car. So stock 6L80, we put a big converter in it to match the huge cam that we put in this thing. Stock bottom end rebuild, stock heads, as you can see, OTR, exhaust system, standard bolt-on stuff, but apart from that, it's mostly just a stocker. So because we went for a big converter in the 6L80, we also put a nice big PWR transcooler on the front of this thing. Very important once you start going to big converters, as they start to run a lot hotter in the oil. So important to have a good transcooler. So what we actually did with this thing, we put the Crow Cam's 1288 off the shelf grind in this thing. So the 1288 is a 234, 250, 610 lift on both intake and exhaust, and it's on a 114 lobe separation. So quite a wide lobe, which we really wanted to try to keep the dynamic compression in this thing as best as we could. So for those of you that remember the silver VE sedan that we did a little while ago on E85, had CNC ported heads, the whole berries. This is the one cam below the one we put in that thing. So we tried in that thing to get as much compression back into the stock bottom end as we could, but we're pretty sure that the cam sizing, the duration, as well as what was done to the heads, which it was pretty obvious that those heads were never done with the intention of going onto a stock bottom end engine. So we're pretty sure there was a few things there that sort of limit how far you can go. And at the end of the day, with the stock bottom end, the limitation is compression. There's only so much you can get into these things with the stock pistons. You can take as much, you saw with that silver VE, we took so much off those heads, and there's only so much compression you can go. So we took 40 thou off these heads, which you know, that's a fair whack. You wouldn't really want to be taking too much more than that if you could help it. But seeing as for the cam, for the 1288, we were going to have to fly cut anyway, we just thought we'll take 40 off them, try and get as much static compression into this thing so that we've got as much dynamic compression as possible. Fly cut the pistons. It's a fairly wide lobe, and yeah, stock ports. Otherwise, pretty much standard stuff. The converter's a 3800, and it's just tuned on 98. And on 98, it ended up going 440 wheel horsepower, which for a stock bottom end 6 litre, what we found is basically you reach in the ceiling there. So that's on 98. You saw, I think the silver VE sedan, the one that I was just talking about, it was flex fuel. I think we had a very similar result on the 98. And I think we made maybe 460 or something on the E85. Once again though, with the limiting factor being compression, E85 is not a huge help. Obviously E85 is great because it's very knock resistant, but if you're bleeding, if you don't have enough static compression and your huge cam is already bleeding a heap of dynamic compression, well then you don't have enough compression to really get to the knock limit of 98 anyway. So that's what we found, is that they're not really knock limited, which means E85 isn't a huge advantage. And obviously the results of this are sort of, compared to the silver VE, are somewhat pointing to the fact that, you know, with all that port and all that extra cam, it's not doing much better, which means that, you know, something around this 1288 is probably the largest I think you can go in this sort of configuration without, you know, starting to go backwards. Because, you know, the silver VE also had the fast intake manifold. This is just a stock intake manifold. So I think that what you're seeing here in this combination is, as wild as it still is for a street combo, this is still, make no mistake, this cam is still a pretty wild bit of kit. But I think if you are looking at stock port with standard intake manifold, similar configuration to this, I think we're seeing that this is about the limit of the cam sizing and cam specs before you're going to start probably going backwards as far as your peak horsepower goals. So that's my opinion on the matter. Obviously we've done a fair few by this point. That's what I believe. I reckon this is going to be a great combo, but I believe unless you're looking at a serious airflow package as well, and you know, some serious heads and other modifications and stuff, I think this is around about where we're going to start to see diminishing returns if you go much bigger, which I think with the silver sedan, we've sort of seen that because, yeah, anyway. As we all know, guys, it's not that simple. Obviously, the chasing of horsepower is exponential. Each 10 horsepower more is 10 times harder to get than the last 10. So it's not always that simple, but I think this is a pretty good showcase of a good stock bottom end setup and about as hard as you can go with one that's aspirated on 98. So anyway, guys, obviously if you go on pistons and you can get heaps of compression in that thing and you can go E85 and you can make use of all that airflow and really get it happening, things change completely. The real thing that's holding this to its combo is having stock pistons. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this short little one of some results, I suppose. I should probably point out that apart from just the cam and the rebuild, it got everything else that we get on a level 2 kit from ospwarehouse.com. Also got CHE trunnion upgrades like all LSs that come through this shop. So basically just all your standard LS upgrades that we would do. But yeah, been a good one. Cheers for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out. See you, bye.